Finding your place. Elf. In any case, we've all felt like a misfit. Everyone once has felt a bit of loneliness. Daily we are surrounded by people who spend their days in their own worlds. But eventually the sundering feeling scores and we feel soulless, sometimes soulless. The lesson be yourself, a proverb that is overused, which makes it diluted and watered down, but really it's underrated. Being yourself is important, but what if you are lost and you don't know who you are or where you came from? Let's unravel the silly wrapping paper of the film Elf and discover how to be yourself. Spoilers ahead. The North Pole is home to Buddy the Elf, although it's not his true home, but it's where he's lived most of his life. From an infant to an adult, elf culture is what Buddy is most knowledgeable at. Because he wants to be an elf, Buddy tries his best to find his place in his culture, but he realizes that every action ends in disaster. Often he hides from his destruction in the bathroom of his adopted household. Soon his questions are answered. Buddy is not an elf. He's, in fact, a human, which totally breaks the rules of his life and at the same time gives him a chance to find his place. This story wouldn't be a movie without a conflict. Despite most films built around the Christian holiday, this movie diverts that commonality that there must be an opposite to Santa. A villain who expresses contrasting motives.
You're not Santa anymore. You're just a guy who smells like a cookie.
Elf flips this rule on its head and makes Buddy's father the bearer of conflict. Thus, Buddy ventures out into the wilderness to find his real home, the place where he can feel the most normal and be himself. Elf is a comedy. It's not real, but Walter Hobbs is real and Miles Finch is real. Even Michael is real. Buddy is a stranger. He is a stranger in a strange land. Even when Buddy enters into human civilization with his pointy green hat and yellow tights, although he is among his people, he still looks like a fish out of water. When Buddy finally meets his father, it's a little awkward, and it's obvious that Walter, Buddy's father, doesn't care about his lost son. In awe, the city lights Buddy, and his unruly way of thinking can't help but make people laugh when he is mistaken for a gloomy elf working at Gimbel's North Pole.
This is the North Pole.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Buddy sees a woman for the first time, and he makes her smile with his goofiness. After many hilarious jokes and comic scenes, including hanging out with young Dave Grohl, eventually Buddy meets his father's family, his wife Emily and their son Michael, who thinks Buddy is weird, which they all do. Although Emily is nice to Buddy, Walter, his father, is not having it and wants to kick Buddy out. Michael, Buddy's half-brother, who was stone cold like his father until Buddy impressed him with his snowball-making talent. Michael sees Buddy as a cool older brother that he never had. Also, Jovi, Buddy's girlfriend, likes him based on his silliness and humility, as Santa calls it, Christmas spirit. Buddy found his home. He found his true father, and Buddy now has a girlfriend and brother. Buddy is so jovial, he doesn't care who knows it, so he runs to his father, his best friend, the person Buddy's been looking forward to meeting his whole life. Even when he thought he was an elf, Buddy still felt orphaned. During a serious meeting Walter has with a colorless man, Buddy pulls his greatest blunder, which infuriated Walter to speak his feelings. Hurtful words neither wanted to hear, breaking Buddy's heart. Just like a kid who overhears words they didn't want to take in, Buddy writes a note and runs away. Buddy's the saddest he's ever been because Santa was wrong.
Maybe all they need is just a little Christmas spirit.
Before, Buddy would annoy everyone he had come in contact with. He would be himself, but here, when he literally makes contact with this guy, he doesn't parade him around because he has lost his Christmas spirit. The message of this movie is to find where you belong, you got to be yourself. All of this crumbles when Buddy debunks it with one lie.
I don't belong anywhere.
Which all stemmed from what Walter yelled. Exactly when Buddy thinks he's homeless, Santa gives Buddy the hope he needs. The aerial Santa falls from the sky. Buddy is witness to this and he runs after him over the rainbow. Santa has crashed his sleigh. To explain this happening, he says there's just no Christmas spirit anymore. After Buddy's second lie,
I'm not an elf, Santa. I can't do anything right.
Santa treats Buddy with the truth.
More of an elf than anyone I ever met.
This fact coalesces when the unconventional villain, Walter Hobbs, finds his way back to Buddy and apologizes for what he said. He does not think his son is a joke.
My son, I love you.
Buddy embraces his dad with glee, just like how he would. Jovi helps by singing my least favorite Christmas song to grow everyone's spirits, the people Buddy has influenced, and importantly, Buddy's father. Which makes the sleigh blast off into the night sky. If not for Buddy the elf, Christmas would be ruined. Sometimes I feel like Buddy, a sore thumb standing out alone and by myself most days without friends to talk to, making awkward scenes while trying to be funny and goofy. Everyone once has felt a bit of loneliness, like you do not belong. So how do you step outside your comfort zone to meet people and find your place in this extra world? The key is being yourself. Look at Buddy. He was hopeful and aimed for desire, trusting, and of all things, loving. Which reminds me of 1 Corinthians 13:13, which says,